There's something undeniably magnetic about that first moment when your eyes meet someone and something inside you just stirs. You don't plan it, you don't analyze it. It's like your body recognizes something before your mind has a chance to catch up. That spark can be intoxicating. It pulls you in, makes you feel alive, makes you believe that maybe, just maybe, this could be the person you've been waiting for. But here's where so many of us get lost. We confuse that chemistry with connection. Chemistry feels like fire, connection feels like warmth. One burns fast, the other builds slowly. You can't fake chemistry, it's there or it isn't. It's that natural pull that makes you want to know more, to be closer. But love, real love, isn't built on chemistry alone. Chemistry is a spark. Connection is the structure that holds the fire in place so it doesn't destroy everything around it. The mistake people make is thinking the spark means they've already built something. But the truth is, all you've done is light the match. What comes next determines whether it turns into a lasting flame or burns out as fast as it began. When you meet someone who gives you butterflies, you're not falling in love, you're falling into possibility. You're drawn to their energy, their smile, the way they make you feel seen for a moment. But emotional connection doesn't come from how they look at you. It comes from what they reveal when they trust you enough to let their guard down. It's built in the quiet spaces between words, the shared laughter, the moments when you see who they are without the performance. Chemistry makes you want to be with them. Connection makes you want to stay. The reason many relationships fail after a passionate start isn't because the chemistry disappears. It's because there was never real connection to hold it up. You can't sustain a relationship on desire alone. You need emotional oxygen, understanding, empathy, curiosity. You need someone who doesn't just ignite your feelings, but can also meet you in your depth. Love doesn't grow through intensity. It grows through consistency. The spark matters, but it's only the beginning. So yes, instant chemistry can feel like love, but don't let it trick you. Real love doesn't demand to be rushed. It doesn't scream. It reveals itself quietly over time in the way someone shows up for you, listens to you, respects your heart. The chemistry draws you close. The connection keeps you there. And when both exist together, that's not fantasy. That's rare, real, and worth waiting for. When we say we've fallen for someone, what we often mean is that we've fallen for the story we've built around them. We don't fall in love with a person in that first instant. We fall in love with the way they make us feel about ourselves. The spark, the thrill, the mystery, it awakens something inside us that's been asleep. They become the mirror reflecting the parts of us we've longed to see. That's why sometimes, even after knowing almost nothing about them, we feel this rush of emotion. It's not always about who they are. It's about what they awaken in us. When you meet someone new, your mind fills in the blanks. You see the way they smile, the confidence in their walk, the kindness in their tone, and suddenly your imagination starts painting the rest of the picture. You assume they must be emotionally intelligent, kind, romantic, secure. You fall not for the person standing in front of you, but for the version your heart creates. And that version is perfect, because it was designed by your desire, not their reality. We love who we think they are, not necessarily who they've shown themselves to be. That's why so many people feel heartbroken, not because of what they lost, but because of what never really existed. The fantasy collapses. The illusion fades, and we're left facing the truth that maybe we were never in love with the person. We were in love with the potential we imagined. Real love isn't about potential, it's about acceptance. It's not about who they could be if everything aligned. It's about who they consistently are, even on the days when nothing looks romantic. It's easy to fall for someone's charm. It's easy to fall for how they look at you when everything's exciting and new. But true attraction is deeper than admiration. It's understanding. It's seeing someone's flaws and still feeling drawn to their essence. It's realizing that love isn't about escaping reality, it's about sharing it. When we stop chasing the perfect picture and start getting curious about the person behind it, that's when something real begins. So what do we really fall for? We fall for hope, for connection, for the feeling of being chosen. We fall for the way someone makes us believe in love again. But lasting love only happens when the fantasy meets reality and still feels beautiful. When you can see someone clearly not as a dream, but as a human, and your heart still leans in. That's when falling turns into staying. That's when love becomes real. The human mind is powerful, and when desire enters the picture, it becomes an artist. It paints, it fills in details, it adds colors that were never really there. That's what happens in those early moments when we meet someone who stirs something inside us. We start projecting. We don't see them as they are. We see them through the lens of what we hope they'll be. We turn fragments into a full story, a smile into kindness, charm into depth, confidence into emotional maturity. And before we've truly gotten to know them, we've already built a version of them that fits perfectly into our fantasy. Projection is seductive because it feels so real. It's like your heart is whispering, "This is it. This is what you've been waiting for." And that belief can be intoxicating. But love built on projection is like standing on thin ice. It looks solid from a distance, but the moment you put weight on it, it cracks. The reality of who someone is will always reveal itself in time. The question is whether we're willing to see it when it does, or if we'll keep trying to hold on to the fantasy we created. We project because we want to believe in something. We want to believe that connection can happen instantly, that fate could be real, that someone can appear and finally make sense of everything. It's not foolish, it's human. But when we cling to fantasy, we stop being curious. We stop asking questions. We stop noticing the small red flags or the subtle inconsistencies because they don't fit the story we're writing in our minds. We're not falling in love with a person anymore, we're falling in love with our own creation. The danger of projection is that it blinds us. We stop seeing who they truly are and start fighting to protect the version of them we wish existed. That's why people stay in relationships long after they know it's not right. They're not holding on to the person, they're holding on to the dream. And the longer we live in that dream, the harder it becomes to accept reality when it finally knocks on the door. Real love doesn't need fantasy. It doesn't need to be perfect or cinematic. It grows when you allow yourself to see clearly, when you let go of the illusion and choose the truth instead. When someone no longer needs to live up to your imagination, that's when you finally meet them. That's when love stops being projection and starts being presence. The most beautiful connections aren't made in fantasy. They're made in the courage to see someone fully and still choose them. Intensity can feel like proof of love. The racing heart, the sleepless nights, the constant pull to be around that person, it all feels so powerful, so undeniable. You tell yourself it must mean something special because it consumes you. But intensity isn't the same as depth. It's the spark that gets your attention, not the foundation that holds you steady. Real love doesn't just appear in a rush of emotion. It grows in the quiet consistency of time. Time reveals what intensity hides. When you're swept up in that early rush, everything feels effortless. You overlook flaws, you dismiss doubts, you convince yourself that what you feel is all the proof you need. But time has a way of testing what's real. It shows you how someone reacts when things aren't easy, how they handle conflict, how they treat you when the excitement fades. That's when you find out whether it was love or just the illusion of it. Intensity wants everything now. It feeds on immediacy. It's the voice that says, I can't stop thinking about you. This must be fate. But love real, grounded love doesn't rush. It doesn't need to. It's not afraid of taking its time because it knows that what's meant to last doesn't crumble when the high fades. Love built on intensity alone burns bright and fast, but love built with time burns slow and steady, becoming something that can weather real life. It's easy to fall for the adrenaline of connection. It feels exciting to lose yourself in someone new, but the truth is, you can't truly know a person until you've seen them through time, through moments of frustration, boredom, vulnerability, and growth. Love doesn't reveal itself in grand gestures or perfect chemistry. It shows up in how two people choose each other again and again, even when the spark isn't blinding. That's the part that takes patience. That's the part that most people skip. When love takes its time, it deepens. You begin to see the real person, not the fantasy version. You build trust, not just attraction. You find comfort in their presence instead of addiction to their attention. Intensity makes you feel alive, but time makes you feel safe. And it's only in that safety that love can truly grow. So if you ever find yourself asking whether something is love or just a rush, step back. See what remains when the intensity quiets, because love doesn't need to shout to prove itself. It just needs time to show you what's real. The real magic of love isn't in the lightning strike moment when two people lock eyes across a room. It's in what happens after. It's in the space between that first spark and the life that grows from it. We romanticize beginnings because they feel effortless, the glance, the chemistry, the thrill of what might be. But the true magic isn't found in the rush. It's found in the quiet, steady unfolding of something real. The kind of love that lasts isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. It builds slowly, almost invisibly, through a series of small moments that most people overlook. It's in the text that says, I made it home safe, because they know you'd worry. It's in the way they listen, not just to respond, but to understand. It's in the way they show up on the days when you're not easy to love. That's where the magic hides in consistency, in thoughtfulness, in presence. We've been taught to chase butterflies, to believe that love should feel like fireworks, but the truth is, fireworks fade. Magic that lasts is the kind that doesn't need to explode. It quietly glows. Real magic is seeing someone's imperfections and not losing your attraction. It's finding beauty in their reality, not their performance. It's learning their rhythms, their silences, their fears, and still feeling that pull toward them. It's not that the spark disappears, it just matures. It turns from adrenaline into peace, from fantasy into familiarity, from craving into connection. That's when love stops being about escape and starts being about home. The real magic happens when both people choose each other over and over, not because they have to, but because they want to. When they could walk away, but they stay to understand. When they let time do its work, softening edges, deepening trust, building something that doesn't depend on constant excitement to survive, because real love doesn't stay alive through drama or intensity. It stays alive through effort, respect, and care. That's the kind of love that gives you peace instead of anxiety. That's the kind of love that doesn't take more than it gives, and it doesn't arrive all at once. It's earned moment by moment. The real magic is when you stop searching for perfection and start appreciating presence. When you realize that love isn't about finding someone who completes you, it's about building something that expands you. That's the magic that doesn't fade. It doesn't depend on luck or timing. It's created by two people who decide to show up every day, for something bigger than the fantasy,